Hi everyone and welcome back. Before we get started, I just want to say thank you to everyone who watched my earlier video, and I hope you found it interesting, and I hope you find the information in this video that I'm about to present to you interesting as well. Today I'm going to be talking about the things that I have changed in my life that help me cope with the hypervigilant immune system, mold allergies, tinnitus, that I've been suffering with for the last, it's coming up on 2 years now. So let's get started. Detoxing for me has been a very important part of my healing process. It started initially after I got my mold allergy test back. I thoroughly cleaned my room. I closed it up because I didn't want any outside air coming in, and I slept with the air filters. I did that for a couple of months, and that definitely helped to take down some of the intensity of the symptoms that I was having. The body uses 5 pathways to detox. Those 5 pathways are the liver, the kidneys, your intestines, of course, and your lungs and your skin. So if you can, if your body is pretty efficient at removing things, that shouldn't be in there. It's just that when we ingest or intake more toxins and our body can't keep up, then bad things start happening, like the toxins are stored in fat cells, and in my case, I start having symptoms that included what I talked about before, the burning and the ringing in the ears. So, also, I know those detox programs where you drink a particular diet, like you stay on one diet for a weekend or a week or something, and then you're supposed to be all clean, it cleans out your intestines and you're all detoxed, are fine, but they ignore the other parts of the body that are involved in your body's detoxing mechanism. So I'm going to try and address all of those today. So as I said before, air filter was very important for me. I don't know where else to put this first product that I want to talk about. This is noni juice. This comes from Pacific Islands or tropical regions of the world, and this is well known in places like Hawaii, for example. It's also been studied significantly in Hawaii, at the University of Hawaii, for its properties. It has properties like it's a natural motility agent. It helps if you're things that are supposed to go down the digestive tract. It aids that process of not having them come back up in the form of GERD or reflux. It's also been studied in cancer patients where it improves the quality of life, they found. They also have found that this is very good for relieving pain. Now, nowhere in the research that I've seen have I seen anything about this having any sort of impact on allergies or the symptoms that I have had. However, something happens inside of me when I take this stuff. It's also a natural ACE inhibitor, which is why we had it here in the house in the first place, because my mother has high blood pressure, and when she takes this on a regular basis, it keeps her blood pressure normal. So what it's done for me is it calms down my immune system. I don't know how it does this. I don't know why. This is totally anecdotal and specific for me, but it's been a godsend, really. I happened to be sitting in church with my mother. I had taken her to church that day, and I heard this voice that said, "Take noni juice. You're fine, just take noni juice." I don't know if it's the voice of God. I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen to that. And that's how I started. And I take this straight out of the bottle. Like I'll fill a shot glass and have, like a little of this first thing in the morning. If I'm really having a bad day, I'll have more in the evening. And it just seems to really calm things down. I don't know if you call that detox. I don't know, but I just know that it works for me. My other detox method that I use is taking this supplement. It's barley grass, wheatgrass, and alfalfa. Amazing Grass makes a couple of these. They make a straight wheatgrass supplement that I've taken as well. And this, I will take a little of this powder and put it in a glass with a little apple juice and a tablespoon or more of apple cider vinegar, and then fill it up to about 6 ounces or so with water. And I'll just drink that down, whatever, sip on it or drink it. It tastes interesting. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention about noni juice is that the taste is unusual. Because it's a natural product, the taste can vary from bottle to bottle, but it's definitely potent. It's bitter. It kind of tastes like prune juice mixed with maybe Limburger cheese or something. Anyway, it's just, you have to get used to it. I am used to it now, and I can just drink it down without, gagging. But it is a shock if you're not expecting it. As far as this tastes fine. I put apple juice in it to kind of cover over the apple cider vinegar that I put in there. But otherwise, you can put this in smoothies. I just prefer to drink it like a tonic. And this, between those two, I have managed to go weeks at a time with no symptoms. That last spring, I went straight through last spring when there was a lot of pollen and things in the air, and I was symptom free. And unfortunately, I tend to go on and off this. I need to stay on it, actually, because the longer I'm on it, the better I seem to get. The other thing I wanted to mention is Laura over at Laura's Natural Life, and I'll link her channel below, has an awesome video about detoxing. It gives a lot of different methods, and she's a holistic nutritionist, and she's got experience in this sort of thing. So it's really worth checking that video out, especially if you're serious about detoxing. She talks about things like saunas and other, chlorophyll, which is what's in here, and other agents that will help you to detox. Okay. Next, I want to talk about supplements that I take. And I'll also talk a bit about the medicines that I take along with those supplements. The supplements that I take are, this is core for me. This is a hypoallergenic, citrus-free quercetin supplement with vitamin C. Quercetin is a molecule that's found in onions, garlic. It's found in the pith of citrus fruits like oranges, and it is nature's natural antihistamine. I will not go a day without taking at least 1 or 2 of these, depending on how I'm feeling. Vitamin C is also crucial for helping your immune system to function properly, and so between the C and the quercetin work synergistically to help, in my case, calm down my immune system and get it back on track of not reacting to everything under the sun. This is the Twin Lab. Quercetin plus vitamin C. Again, it's corn-free. It's a lot free, actually. It's no fish, no corn, no soy, no yeast, no barley, wheat, lactose, milk, citrus and egg products, no added flavoring, sugar, salt, artificial sweeteners, colorings, preservatives, or salicylates. I don't go a day without taking this supplement. Also, I don't go a day without taking my vitamin D or magnesium. These I both purchase at Pharmaca, as you can tell. These are their brand. All of my supplements are corn-free, including the vitamin C supplement that I take. And, for obvious reasons, you need vitamin D for everything, for life, basically. And the magnesium is a very calming mineral. We're all low because it's hard to get it in our groundwater. It's hard to get it in our foods because of our agricultural practices. We don't give our fields sabbaticals or put minerals back in. So I can always tell when I'm low in magnesium because I don't sleep well. And this, along with an Epsom salt bath, for example, is another way of getting magnesium into your system, will definitely help me to sleep at night, especially when the ringing is going on. This is I can't live without this. No one can live without magnesium, actually. You need it for life. In the form of medicines, I take two. I take Sinisalia. This is a homeopathic medicine, and this relieves the symptoms in my sinuses, clogged sinuses. It works well to relieve the symptoms in my ears as well. I also have recently been relying very heavily on histaminum, I think is how you say that. There we go. And this is also a homeopathic remedy that addresses when you're making too much antihistamine. And as I said, lately I've been having some difficulties, and so I've had to rely on that a lot. You can also, and I haven't done this, but you can also have things like Claritin and other traditional allergy medicines compounded at a compound pharmacy. The reason, and that way they just have the active ingredient and they don't put in anything that you are allergic to as far as inactive ingredients. So I changed my diet. I follow something called Traditional Foods. It's founded by Dr. Weston A. Price and the Weston A. Price Foundation. It's very similar, in fact, to anyone who follows like slow foods or the paleo diet. I try not to restrict myself I can eat anything that I want, as long as it's not corn, obviously, or contaminated with some sort of corn product. So most of my vegetables and fruits I buy at farmers markets. I buy my meat, I'd say most of my meat, I buy from a halal butcher. And that's because the Islamic law does not allow them to use preservatives in the processing of their meats. So no corn, no citric acid. They're not washed in citric. The meat is not washed in citric acid when it's being processed. And additionally, if I am going to be buying meat in a store, I look for things like minimally processed and preservative free on the label. I've been able to find some items at Trader Joe's. They're grass-fed beef that comes in the patties in their frozen food section. I don't have a problem with. Or their turkey. There are turkey patties in the frozen food section I can eat. I can eat their frozen fish. They even have some bacon that's minimally processed and preservative free that I can also eat. I also buy meat from Applegate Farms, and and I can get lettuce from Earthbound Farms. Apparently they only wash their lettuce in water. Who knew? When you're looking for foods in a store, you want to check to make sure that there are very few additives and as few ingredients as possible. Be careful of meats that are wrapped in shrink wrap, the stuff that you get in packages, because often that has, it's been washed in citric acid, or it has cornstarch underneath the saran wrap to I think absorb, to keep it fresher, I guess. I don't buy anything that's been pre-washed, sprayed, gassed, or enriched. So if a package of mushrooms says pre-washed on it, I don't buy it. If it says wash me, then I do. And so I've had good luck. I've been able to get a lot of things that I can't find at the farmer's market. I can find certain things in my grocery store that are okay to eat. And there are a lot of vegetables in particular at grocery stores that are not okay for me to eat. So since I had to change out all of my personal care products anyway, I decided to look for more toxic-free natural varieties. So I have more natural, and I've done videos on, I've done a video particularly on hidden corn and on cleaning products, natural cleaning products. And so I'll link a lot of stuff below. Everything I talk about in this video, I'll link below. Yeah, so natural cleaning products and personal care, my skin care, my hair care. I've switched to more natural corn-free products. When I clean, I use these antiviral face masks to protect myself from spores and other things that are flying around in the air. My doctor told me at the time my skin on my arms and legs was still really, really tender and sensitive, and it would burn if I put tried to put any kind of lotions on it. In fact, there was a time when it would burn if I put shea butter, like 100% shea butter, or coconut oil on it. So he said that I stick to just plain oils, and I did that. I have done that. I do use one lotion. I found one lotion that I can use, but mostly I use facial oils and skin oils that are safe for me. And if you are vegan, be warned, I'm about to talk about a particular meat byproduct that I use that you'll probably just want to fast forward until you see the next title card. Because I'm going to talk about beef tallow. I've rendered my own beef tallow from suet that I bought from a rancher who has grass-fed and grass-finished livestock. His meat is very, very clean and very, very nutritious, loaded with nutrients. And the fat, which is what tallow is, the fat has an excellent fatty acid profile, all of your EPA, DHA, CLL, conjugated linoleic acid, and omega-6s. It has the exact same fatty acid profile as your skin. So I make my own body butter from beef tallow and sunflower oil, and when I apply that to my skin just it completely responds. It has been a miracle product almost. It's calmed down my skin to the point that I can put things like coconut oil and other sorts of oils that I couldn't use before. I can now use those on my skin, and when it gets really, really dry or starts getting itchy or weird, I will pull out the beef tallow and use that. And yes, you end up smelling like beef, but I don't want to put any kind of essential oils in it, which you could, because again, I'm uber sensitive. And that has helped my skin to heal itself. So how am I doing? Much better than I was 2 years ago. I'm just coming off of a difficult period that started about a month ago when I made some cookies and I used canned pumpkin in it. It was organic in a BPA-free liner can, and I had a bad reaction. The whole burning, ringing, I mean, it was awful, and I did not know what it was. I was using ingredients here that I have, basic ingredients that I always use, but I had a really bad reaction, and I only discovered a few weeks later that corn-sensitive people are having difficulty with cans that are BPA-free, where the lining is BPA-free. So you just never know. You never know when, particularly if you're buying a product that seems to be corn-free. Manufacturers change ingredients all the time, and it's not uncommon that a manufacturer who wasn't using citric acid in a product will suddenly start putting it in, or some other corn derivative. So I have, it's getting better. I had 2 nights ago, I didn't sleep at all because the ringing was so loud. Last night, the ringing was much calmer, and I was able to get some sleep. Other challenges that I face, I think the one that's the most difficult for me is eating at friends' houses, particularly, like at holiday time. I don't want to walk in and be like, I can't eat any of your food. It just makes me really, really uncomfortable. So I try to just avoid, either I'll eat before or go after the meal is over, so that I just don't have to start explaining or, not eating anything. Eating at restaurants can be, but fortunately, I do live in Southern California, where even though the air is bad, very bad, the food here is very, people tend to be very health conscious about what they eat. So if a restaurant says things like farm to table, or seasonal is very popular here, I'm usually safe, knowing that if I say, hey, I can't have any corn, they're usually very good about saying, nope, this has no kind of corn additive, no nothing in it. So restaurants have been very good, as long as I'm careful about what restaurants I choose to eat at. Traveling, I just don't do it. I don't know if and when I'll ever travel again. At some point, I would like to, but it makes me very uncomfortable to think about going to some place where I don't know if I'll be able to eat anything, or having to pack, like things like nutrition bars, or accidentally eating something that I think is safe that turns out not to be, and then I'm in a big reaction, and I'm not anywhere that I can eat something or do things that will help me get over it. So traveling is not in my wheelhouse right now, but who knows, maybe someday. Okay, so to sum everything up, most of my symptoms are under control much of the time. I can pretty much function and can indulge in things that I find fun, like makeup and cosmetics, as long as I'm careful about what I put on and look for things that might irritate my skin. And really, the less factory farmed food, the healthier I am. So that's my story. I hope you found this helpful, and as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for giving this video a thumbs up. And I will talk to you again very, very soon.